Well, I guess it was a couple weeks ago, Linda.
Yeah.
You and I had the chance to talk with a performer who burst onto the music charts in the 60s with hits like It's My Party, Sunshine, Lollipops, and Rainbows, and You Don't Own Me.
Today, she's still going strong and says she's enjoying the best years of her life. Let's take a look at our conversation with Miss Lesley Gore.
Lesley, at an age when most kids were having Sweet 16 parties and worrying about their skin, you were worrying about your next appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show. What was it like to have a hit when you're 16 years old?
I had to worry about my skin also, in addition.
More so.
You know, it was very, it was a very anxiety-ridden period for me because even though I was a professional in so much as I had a hit and people knew who I was, I had never done this on a stage before, so it was a first time for me. 3 months before an Ed Sullivan Show, I used to throw up fairly regularly just thinking about it. Yes, it was very scary for me.
What about your friends? Did they treat you differently when you became a smash hit?
Well, I was very fortunate because I went to a very small high school. There were about 35 people in my graduating class, so they were very much a part of my beginnings. When I went on to college in '64, it was a little harder. Yeah. Because I was already a celebrity when I came to Sarah Lawrence, and it was a larger class, and it was a little harder to fit in. It took me almost a year to feel as though I belonged.
Now, part of fitting in, though, was stepping out of the recording industry in a way.
Yes, to a large degree.
Why did you choose to do that?
Do you know, I've thought about this so many times, and if I had it to do differently right now, if I were 16 or 17 and I had a hit record, what I'd be doing is planning my college curriculum in conjunction with it. And I didn't do that then because I was a woman and I didn't think that way. I thought of it as an avocation, more as a hobby than as a career.
Even though you had all these gold records?
You had a lot of hits in there.
Do you know, very early on, I mean, from the time I was 16, even before It's My Party was released, my record company, my agency, and my folks kept saying to me, you know how fickle this business is, sweetheart. You know that you can have a hit one day and you could be a flop the next. So somewhere deep inside me, I felt as though this is a cycle, it's going to happen, and it's going to be over. And when it's over, I don't want to be standing there wondering, what am I going to do with the rest of my life?
Are you sorry that you made that choice? You know, I mean, you were so hot, because you're my generation. I mean, I grew up on your music. We're the same age, basically. You're a little younger than I am. You were so hot. We saw every year you had a hit.
Yes.
And then suddenly we didn't hear from Lesley Gore anymore. Well, lots of rumors went around.
Yeah, the Howard Hughes stories.
Yeah, all of that.
I love that.
Yeah.
It was well, what most people did when they had hit records was quit school, or at least quit for a period of time, and go out and milk the personal appearances. That's how you amassed the money. Because at that time, you didn't get a terrific royalty rate with record companies. At that time, and I probably would dare to say at this time, you probably don't get an accurate accounting from most record companies. And I did not go out and milk the PAs, so I didn't really amass the fortunes that most people think I must have.
Yeah. But you did come into success again, because you and your brother wrote some of the great songs for the musical fame.
I think that this is an interesting concept. After I got out of college, and I had no more record career by and large. Mercury Records had released me. I couldn't get a record deal, and I went into clubs and for the first time really learned my craft, really learned what to do on a stage. At that time, what I also did was studied harmony, studied theory, did the things I should have done when I was in college. And then I said to myself, I'm not going to wait and have my career be dependent upon whether somebody hires me for a gig or not, whether I have a club date, whether I have a concert date. I'm going to be a writer, and I'm going to be a musician every day of my life.
But isn't it ironic that you started writing hits after you stopped making them?
Yes, I think it is. I think it is. But I was very, very grateful for that opportunity. Michael, I thought, wrote some beautiful music for that film, and he played me this beautiful ballad very early on, before they even started filming. And as soon as I heard the song, I knew what it had to say, and I had the title in my head. So I said to him, please, give me a couple of days, and I came back with the lyric for Out Here on My Own.
Wonderful. Now, do you work with your brother still?
Actually, Michael, we would be working, if he weren't involved, in a very, very major project that has him in England right now. He's written the music for a show that'll be coming to Broadway probably next fall. It will be the dramatization of Carrie.
Oh,
so
really?
he's written the music to that with Dean Pitchford. It's sort of like a rock
Do you come
opera.
from a musical family?
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Not really. Actually, my brother and I were the musical people in my family.
Who was the inspiration for you when you were a kid, before you really became the Lesley Gore?
I listened to I listened to June Christie and Anita O'Day and Ella Fitzgerald and Sarah Vaughan and Carmen McRae. Those were the ladies that taught me how to sing.
Yeah.
Then when I signed my contract with Mercury Records, Quincy Jones became my producer.
Yeah.
So I got into the concept of rock and roll and pop music.
Were your parents very supportive of you during all
Yes,
of
they
that?
really were.
So they
really
wanted
were.
you to do it? Because that was a time, you know, that was a little scary.
What they did was offered me the options. We talked about what would happen if I did this and what would happen if I did that. And we talked about it for quite a while before I actually signed the contract with Mercury and recorded It's My Party.
Your dad put you on a $30 a week allowance, though, I understand.
Yeah, I think that's what I was getting, something
So you
menial
went out there
like that.
shopping your brains out. No.
Right.
What's life like now for you?
Life is pretty good, I must say. It's the best of lots of worlds. I live in the city.
Yes.
I have
In New York,
in Manhattan. I have a beautiful house in the country at the beach. I do a certain amount of concertizing a month, usually about 4 or 5 concerts a month, and the rest of the week and the days are mine to write with and enjoy however I wish.
Now let's go back to the days of Bandstand.
Oh gosh.
What was it like backstage there?
Golly. Bandstand was a very, very easy show. There wasn't even a backstage. You just sort of walked in the door and it was a studio. It was like an old garage in Philadelphia. And it was a wonderful show to do. Everyone used to do it. Used to just drive right down. Used to Palisades Park at 10 o'clock in the morning and go right down to Philadelphia to do Bandstand.
What a great time that was.
It was a fun time.
Seems like 1,000 years ago.
So you really had no concept of what was going on around you, did you? Did you know that you were on top of everything then?
I knew I was a pretty fortunate young person, yes. I sensed that. Even though there was an awful lot of responsibility and burden that came with the celebrity, I knew that I was really in for a tremendous treat. You know, it's a fantastic thing to be able to travel and do the kind of work that I do. You travel in a way that most people who get on a plane and visit a city or visit another country, you never see what you see when you're there working. And it's been a really incredible 25 years for me.
Are you looking to have another hit song? Are you working on that now? Do you want that?
I would like that as a writer.
Not as a singer.
I don't exclude that I would like to record, but I'd be very happy and very satisfied if someone had a top 10 song with one of my songs.
Yeah, I bet, sure.
But
How about your
doesn't mean
voice? Has it changed a lot?
Yes, it has, actually.
Has it?
It's gotten a little lower. My range has expanded, I think, because my technique is just better.
Yeah.
So I can go for higher notes, and I can go for lower notes.
You have that gravelly, wonderful voice.
So what would you say to the 16-year-old today, like a Debbie Gibson, who has her first hit?
You know, I met Debbie last week on a network program, and I was very, very impressed with her because she's doing exactly what I should have done. She's got the 4-track in her basement, and she produces her own stuff, and she writes. I couldn't give the kids of today very much advice at all. They really have their acts together.
Great.
Lesley,
well, thank you.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you for bringing
Good luck.
Thank you for
your
having
act
me
here.
Yeah, really, good luck.
Terrific. Well, it's your commercial, and you'll buy if you want to. That's what we've been told. We'll be right back.
Nice.
I paid you way up.